Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to Women Business Connection. We are so excited to have Amanda Schneider with us today. Amanda is an award-winning international speaker and trainer who is passionate about creating communities of like-minded business owners who are committed to growing their mindset, skill set, and tool set so they can achieve greater prosperity in their business and abundance in life. Amanda considers herself a student for life, believing if you aren't learning, you aren't growing. She continually engages in personal and business development to hone her expertise and provide relevant coaching and content to her own clients. She combines these key learnings with her unique experience from over 20 years in the corporate, education, and direct selling spaces to deliver and facilitate powerful and transformative training and coaching to her clients. We're excited to hear from you today, Amanda. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Such an honor to be here. I'm going to share some slides, and I also want to, a couple of you on here have seen me speak before. I am going to go through a similar talk today, but between the time that you first saw and now, I encourage you to re-engage with the information and see what else comes through. So thank you. Let's go ahead and I'll share my screen. I'm going to talk today a little bit about why they buy. I'm going to see how many of you I can see on my screen, and definitely I like to be interactive. I am a former classroom teacher, and so if you are able to participate in the chat box, I would love that. I can get that chat box up. So how many of you, by show of hands or in the chat box, love sales? Awesome. Okay, wonderful. And anybody not so happy with sales? Like, meh, can take it or leave it? Okay. At least everybody on my screen is liking sales. All right. Love it now, used to hate it, love sales, me. Excellent. So there's a lot of sales training out there. What we're going to talk about today is we're going to shift it a little bit, and we're going to talk about, instead of how to sell, we're going to look at why a person buys. Okay, so I'm going to go through some secrets. I'm going to go through some science and a system that will help you predict buying behavior. And with that, let's get started. All right, so you already heard about my bio. Really, at the core of who I am, I love facilitating connections. I did say I'm a classroom teacher, and it really comes back to that. I love facilitating connections, person to person, new content that makes a difference in your life, or connection with something within you that makes a difference as well. That's what lights me up. And then I do have to give a shout out. I've got 3 boys who are in school and 3 rescue dogs at home as well. So that's just a little bit about me. But really, at the end of the day, if I can help somebody make a connection to something that will make a difference in their world and specifically in their business, I'm very happy about that. So I did become a certified trainer with the B.A.N.K code methodology, which we're going to be talking about today, because I used to be somebody that hated sales. And it was just something that based on previous experiences for me, made me feel icky. We'll talk kind of a little bit about that today, but I love this methodology because it really is about the other person. So in our business sense, it's about your client, it's about your prospect, and honoring who they are and communicating in a way that respects and values them. And so that's what really drew this to me, because it was a different feel. So super excited whenever I get a chance to talk about it. I use it a lot in my other business as well. So here we go. So when we talk about B.A.N.K, we talk about the ability to increase your sales up to 300%. And as we go through the secrets and the science, I'll kind of touch more on that. But how many of you could benefit by increasing your sales, even doubling. Would that be a value? Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And keep those chat box going. I'm perfectly happy with that. So here are some statistics. According to Salesforce.com, 67% of people that are in direct sales on a daily basis, 67% will miss their quota each month. And even if you're not in direct sales, you know, we put goals. We put different monthly goals on. And so think about 2/3 of the people will not meet their goals on a monthly basis. 87% of salespeople did not feel adequately prepared when they went into a selling situation. And that led to, or leads to, essentially 66% of people being turned off. Let's put in the chat box here. Have you ever felt turned off in a selling situation or had that experience? Would love to know. I know I certainly have, and I think that was, yeah, getting a lot of feedback there. Absolutely. It happens all the time. So what we're gonna, yeah, don't like to be manipulated, right? One of the things that I teach in my other courses is we all love to buy, but we don't like to be sold to, okay? And again, what we're gonna talk about today really has that impact to take away that manipulative feel, even though I did say predict buying behavior. So we'll make that tie. So Robert Kiyosaki says the ability to sell is the #1 skill in business. It's not number 2, it's not number 3, it's number 1. For me, coming in with my feelings on sales, that was challenging. I had a lot of growth to do, okay? And a lot of us have been told sales is a numbers game. Have you been told that? It's like when I came from the direct selling space, I was recommended to read the book, Go for No. And it's all about how many no's can you get? It's just next, 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 next. Oh, I got a sale. Yep, okay, next, next, next. That did not feel good to me. And really, what if there was a way, in order to get more yeses, you just need to get more yeses? Doesn't that feel a lot better? Yeah, I'm seeing some statistics. Reach 12 people, 1 will say yes. It's a lot of no's in between. Absolutely. So here's the secret. We'll start with our first one. The secret is sales is not a numbers game. It's really about people. Sales is a service, and we are doing a service for people by presenting what we have to offer, because I would be surprised if any person in here does not feel like your business, you are doing a service that you believe in for your clients, okay? If you don't, please put that in the chat box. But we're all here because we believe in our product, we believe in our service, and it is doing a service to sell well to our clients and customers. It's about people. So we're gonna talk about B.A.N.K today. It is not, I know we have a number of members, or a couple of members from a bank. We're not going to talk about a financial institution. B.A.N.K is an acronym that stands for Blueprint, Action, Nurturing, and Knowledge. It is personality-based. It's focused on people, and it's also profit-driven. So when you apply it to the sales process, it can make a big difference in your business. Anybody find some value in that? Yes. Wonderful. So I just want to give you a little bit of background perspective of where this methodology came from. Over 20 years ago, Sherry Tree is the founder of this methodology. She was in direct sales. And her first year, she made a significant $700 a year. Not in a very good space there. She knew she had a lot to learn. And so she started attending all sorts of sales trainings. She read books, she got coaches. And over the course of a 5-year period, increased her income up to $72,000, which that's not so bad. However, she was $30,000 in credit card debt from a lot of that investment in coaching and training. And she really felt like something was missing. During that time, she took a lot of personality assessments, and I'll touch on where that led to. But that's when she came up with B.A.N.K. And when she applied it to her business, the next year, she actually 7x'd her income up to $500,000. She was in direct sales, so she leveraged that, taught her whole team, and then over the next 3 years, increased it over $1 million. So at that point, she said, you know what, there's something to this. It's working. It didn't just work for me. It worked for my team. People started asking her about what she was doing, and that is where the B.A.N.K methodology came from. Just want to give a little bit of perspective that this isn't just a small, one-off kind of training. Harvard University, different universities have asked for training in their entrepreneurship classes. And San Francisco State University actually was able to scientifically validate this methodology in 2016 to, yes, it is unique and you can predict buying behavior. So how would your business change if you could go into a conversation and be able to predict a little bit more confidently and clearly what your prospect or your client wants? Would that feel better? And would that change your business? Yeah. So, all right. Love this quote because I tend to overcomplicate things. Albert Einstein says, any fool can complicate things. It takes a genius to simplify them. That's another reason why I really love this methodology. It's super simple. It's very easy to, once you get that shift, to start implementing. So we're going to take you into the matrix today. Welcome. All right. So we went through the secrets. Let's get into the science behind B.A.N.K. It is based in personality science, okay? Again, blueprint, action, nurturing, and knowledge is what the acronym B.A.N.K stands for. Personality science, Sherry Tree did not invent that. That is nothing new. It actually dates back 2,500 years ago to a Greek physician named Hippocrates. Anybody heard of the father of medicine, the Hippocratic Oath? Yeah, he actually came up with a theory of the temperaments, and he realized he could take all of his patients, divide them up into 4 different groups based on their temperament, and depending on their temperament, treat them differently. And they had different results. And from there, all sorts of personality assessments have been developed. Type in the chat box if you've taken one of these assessments or another assessment. What animal are you? What is your DISC profile, your personality science, all of them. Yeah, it's exciting. We want to learn more about ourselves. It's interesting. Okay, so all sorts, many assessments, fascinating, Myers-Briggs. Yep, it's always great. I'm a big proponent of self-awareness. That's a great starting place to which to move forward. So again, like I said, during that 5 years, Sherry Tree had taken all sorts of personality assessments, and she learned a lot about herself, but yet it never made her any money in her business. And she had this question, and she said, if there are 4 main personality types, would it make sense that something that would cause one person to say yes to a buying decision would cause another person to say no? So then she started asking every client or prospect, whether they said yes or no to her, why? What about the situation? And so she started developing these note cards, and that's how B.A.N.K was developed, okay? So where B.A.N.K differs, it's based in personality science, exactly the same as these others, but rather than being about the psychology of the person, it's about biology, the buying behavior. What causes you to say yes or no to a buying decision, okay? So these are values, and it's important to say here where personality is pretty defined. When we talk about B.A.N.K and buying values, these can shift over time, particularly in cases of, big life changes, like if you death of a loved one, or a job change, or birth of a child, okay? So as we go through these, just important to know that these can change over time. So it's like a snapshot, if you will, okay? All right, so when we talk about B.A.N.K, we talk about cracking the personality code. And where this comes from is, who's on my screen, raise of hands, has anybody seen the Da Vinci Code? Yeah, I'm starting to talk to audiences that they have not, and I'm starting to date myself now, and I'm like, we need another go round of this. But in the Da Vinci Code, there was the CRYPTEX, right? And for those of you who haven't seen it, or just a refresher, the CRYPTEX, within the CRYPTEX was a roll of papyrus. And on that roll of papyrus was written the secret to the Holy Grail. And the whole premise of the movie was about finding and cracking the correct code to unlock the CRYPTEX. The problem was it was booby-trapped and it was wrapped around a vial of vinegar. And if you cracked the code incorrectly, you could crack that vial of vinegar and the secret to the Holy Grail would be forever lost. So we like to use this analogy with, imagine every one of us is walking around with a tiny CRYPTEX. Okay, and you go into a buying situation or selling situation with them, and on that roll of papyrus is written what they need to hear, what they need to know to say yes to what you're offering them. Now, if you crack that vial of vinegar, the chance of that sale can go away. Have you ever either cracked a vial of vinegar in a selling situation, or somebody maybe cracked your vial of vinegar? Type that in the chat box if that resonates with you. For me, I will be vulnerable here and share with you. I was on an airplane. I was coming back from a conference. I was super excited and fired up about life, and I was sitting next to this beautiful couple. They had a young child. We were having this great conversation. And I so badly wanted to talk to them about my product. And I just said the wrong thing. And immediately I felt them like pull back, and her face changed and she turned away. Just like immediately I have this sense. And I gotta tell you, if you're gonna crack a vial of vinegar, don't do it on an airplane, because the next 30 minutes was probably the most uncomfortable 30 minutes of a long time. Still traumatized. I can still feel that. Yep. Yeah, so lots of stuff. Desperation, absolutely. Early in my sales career, in a car ride. Yeah, it happens. And so when we learn the B.A.N.K methodology and when we can start applying some of these things, it's meant to help you navigate those conversations and avoid cracking that vial of vinegar. All right, so Tony Robbins says, let your prospect determine your presentation, okay? A lot of us have one way of talking about what we offer. But if there are 4 different personality types, how many ways of talking about our product might we want to have? 4, but we often have 1, okay? So what this is about looking at those different personalities and saying, what does this type, according to their values, what do they need to hear? What does this type need to hear, okay? So the most common mistake that we make, and this goes with love languages. If you know anything about love languages, we act most often with what we value, okay? And with B.A.N.K and personality types, that means 1 out of 4 chances of talking with our main code, if you will. That means that 3 out of 4 times we're going to have the other match. And again, much like love languages, it's about not speaking our language, but speaking their language, okay? So when we say you can increase your sales up to 300%, what that means is, let's say this bottom line, the blue line, is the English language. And let's say these personality types are as different as speaking different languages, okay? And I have my message to deliver, and I speak English, and I'm just gonna look on who's on my screen, Peggy. Peggy speaks English too. And I deliver my message in English, Peggy gets it in English, connection is made, we're good, okay? So this is the baseline. This is what we're already doing, right? But let's say, Jan, let's say you speak Spanish, and I insist on speaking English. And you might be like, yeah, she's smiling, she's nodding, I'm gonna smile and nod back, But at the end of my communication, are you really going to understand what I was wanting to say? Probably not, okay? So if I can suddenly learn how to speak Spanish, I've increased my influence 100%.
Absolutely.
Okay? Wonderful, yeah. So Susan, let's say Susan speaks French. If I can suddenly learn how to speak the French language, I've increased my influence another 100%. Okay, so that's where we get, you have the ability to increase your influence or your sales up to 300% when you can learn how to identify, respect, and speak other people's values. All right, so who is interested in getting into the system? Learning a little bit about these 4 codes. So system stands for save yourself time, energy, and money. And could we say that if we are cracking fewer vials of vinegar and making more sales, we would save ourselves some time, energy, and money? Absolutely. So I'm just going to go through these a little bit here. So the first one is blueprint. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the color. I'm also going to use a box as an analogy, and these will be quick ways to kind of think through, okay? So if we think about the color blue, blue is a cooler color, okay? So it's more reserved, more conservative. Blueprints are more professional in nature. If we're looking at a box, they are inside the box, okay? They prefer the safety and structure of the box, okay? So blueprints like systems, structure, they like checklists. They are always mitigating risk. Risk is very first and foremost wanting to avoid risk. So if you come into a selling situation with a blueprint and you talk all about the opportunities and, oh my gosh, I've got this great opportunity for you, probably crack that vial of vinegar, okay? Also budgets. Budgets are extremely important for blueprints as well. All right. Action is, if we look at action, the color red. So think about the color red. It's energetic, it's bright, it's bold. Actions like to be center spotlight, VIP treatment, roll out the red carpet for me. They're not inside the box, they are outside of the box. Don't even put me near the box. Like I like all that, okay? So they love opportunity, unlike the blueprint. So if you come in and talk about opportunity with them, even if it's outside of their budget, that's okay, because risk is okay. You gotta have a little bit of risk to move forward in life, okay? Those are your actions. So they want that special treatment. They want the best of the best. And you can talk opportunity and, you know, all of those things with them, all right? Nurturing is our third code. So think about the color yellow. Yellow is a warm color. There's sunflowers, sunshine, honey. Nurturing is known to have a heart of gold, okay? They are not inside or outside the box. They want to recycle or repurpose the box. They want to take that box and go around and collect some things to give to a charity, okay? So nurturers care more about impact over income, more about people over profit, okay? Relationships are extremely important to them. It's about making that connection, that eye contact. I've been really struggling with this whole Zoom thing because it's hard to look at somebody on the screen and you're not making eye contact with them, okay? Nurturing types are really hurting right now. They love hugs, connection. The sales conversation can get challenging with a nurturer. They were probably going to be the ones that maybe don't answer your follow-ups. Maybe they ghost you. Maybe they're just never quite there because they care more about their connection and relationship to you than anything else. So if they're not feeling like they're going to want to make a buying decision, they're just going to avoid it because, again, they want to maintain that relationship, okay? So a nurturer is, they're also very in tune. So if there is a manipulation involved, they're probably going to feel that, okay, intuitively. Our fourth code is knowledge. So think of the color green, the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet logo, the movie The Matrix with the numbers that go down the screen, they're green. The knowledge personality type loves information. The more information, the better. They are lifelong learners. They consume technology, data, research, science. They want to re-engineer the box and make it better, okay? A knowledge will take a very long time to make a buying decision in a lot of cases because they need to go do their own research. Okay, you cannot close a knowledge. A knowledge will close themselves when they've gone back and done their own research and they know that they are right. Okay, so a knowledge person is more formal and reserved, like a blueprint. They do not like being touched in a lot of cases. And again, it's the big picture. If they understand the big picture, they have the research, they have the time, they will make that buying decision. So type in the chat box, how many of you identified with 2, 3, or even all 4 of those codes? A little bit of both, perhaps? 3, 2? Absolutely. In reality, we are a combination of all 4. Okay, again, this is another shift that I really resonate with this, looking at through the lens of bank code, because we are a combination of all 4. It's not your one or the other. There's not a spectrum. You can be equally close in some of them. So it really matters your full bank code, the combination and what order all 4 are. And what we found is the first position is who you are. The second position is who you want to be more of. Your third position, whatever code shows up in your third position, is your stress code. This will come out in times of stress. And then your fourth position is your tripwire. So this would be something that would crack that vial of vinegar. So I'll give you an example of how this looks for me, and then we'll wrap it up. And don't worry, I will give you a very free, quick way to determine your bank code if you're wondering. So my bank code is Nurturing Action Knowledge Blueprint. Okay, I am all about connections, impact, relationships. I am also very high action. Okay, so I sometimes have to tone down my enthusiasm about life. I will make very quick decisions, instinct, intuition. I'm very much heart-centered. That's where I make all of my decisions. When I get stressed out, I go into my head. Knowledge can tend to go into analysis paralysis and rethink and rethink and rethink. And I find myself, I can tell when I'm stressed out, because I will sit there and obsess about things and try to work through them, and how am I going to fit this square through the round peg? Okay, so that's an indication. Blueprint is my last code. If you are in a selling situation with me and you sit me down and go through a contract and go through all of the boxes and all of the terms and all of the conditions, you have totally lost me. Because as a high action, just show me the bottom line. If I don't sign this, I'm not going to get it. So just show me where to sign. And because I'm high nurturing, I have a sense of if I know, like, and trust you. If I know, like, and trust you, you are a professional. I believe what you say. You don't have to show me, just show me where to sign. Okay? That is my particular buying behavior. So understanding that when you go into a selling situation with me, we can connect a lot faster if you operate on that level. Does that make sense? Right. So 24 different bank codes. Honestly, you know, it's really helpful to know the first 2 for somebody, because that's really how they show up, and then also being aware of their last one so you don't crack that vial of vinegar, right? Statistically, we have a 1 in 24% or a 4% chance, or 4.16% chance, if you are a knowledge, of meeting our exact code. It's always just useful to have that information. All right. The solution, just to wrap up. So how do you find out somebody's code? Well, Sherry had asked herself, she's like, well, why don't I just ask somebody? So like I said, she had some note cards, and she determined there were actually, she came up with 12 different values for each of the codes, and she actually put them on cards. And so she just started asking people. She's like, hey, do me a favor. And I don't use them much now because most of my world is on virtual. But back in the day when we were around people, it's like, hey, do me a favor. Before we talk, will you take a look at these cards, read through the values, sort them in order of importance to you, most important down to least important. It's going to save us time and help me serve you better. And I have not had one person say no. Actually, I take that back. I did have one person, and they were like, I don't like being labeled, and what are you going to do with this? Thank you very much. Skeptical knowledge. Sometimes knowledge can be skeptical, and don't put me in a box. The action, don't label me. Okay, and so I was like, okay, that's all right. so we have some cards that can help you. There is an online form, and this is what I'll also put it in the chat box as well. But you are all welcome to go to crackmycode.com/commit to achieve. You'll see the 4 cards online. You can sort them in order of importance to you. Submit it, and then you'll get a personality profile, which is some really interesting reading. I don't know about you, but I read about myself and I was like, I am awesome. I think everybody feels that way because you relate to it. And then I'll also go around and turn around and send you the sales report for yourself so you'll get a good picture. But that'll kind of give you an overview if you would like. We also do, just to quickly touch on, we have an AI technology where you can type in your marketing messaging, your emails, anything like that, and it'll run it through the AI and tell you what the code is. So I use it all the time to make sure that I'm reaching pretty much even all 4 codes if I don't know who I'm talking to, or if I do know who I'm talking to, I can make sure that I'm speaking their language in my messaging. So with that, I am finished, and I would love to open it up for questions if we have a little bit more time. Anybody has? I don't know, Sally, do we have more, a few minutes?
Yeah, we've got some time. Lauren, you want to look for some questions? I got to run to the front door.
Yeah.
I did, somebody said very similar to DISC. That is a common answer, and actually, Victoria, are you around? You were on my screen.
Yeah, I am.
Would you be open to sharing your initial our conversation?
Yeah, sure. When I first saw it, I thought it was like DISC. Only one of the elements, the factors, was way off, and I thought they just redefined it because there is another popular system out there where, to make it different, somebody redefined one of the 4 elements. So I thought, well, here's another one. But then when I really got into it, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. DISC is about how you make decisions and communication and all that stuff. But this was more on the buying side. So it was really, as it turns out, it is different. It's similar, yes, in that it's personality based, but it's very different in the purpose. It's not about your strengths and weaknesses. It is about your preferences for making buying decisions. So it's quite different.
Thank you.
Does that help?
It does, absolutely. Yes, Victoria was fabulous. She was like, I know a whole lot about DISC. Why is this different? And we had quite the extensive conversation, which I really appreciate because, again.
Well, Amanda ended up working with the company I had worked with 10 years prior. We have this interacting life, and I was actually their master trainer on DISC. So when I met her and then I saw this, and I'm thinking, we're so much alike. This, whoa, this is not right. So I really got caught up on the differences.
Yep.
I have a question.
Amanda, just thank you so much for sharing all of this. It's kind of bringing home some former training I had when I worked at the Gainey Village Health Clubs, and we had a lot of different types of people come in to buy memberships. So they taught us a little bit different, but it was more like a social person, a relational person, a director, and a thinker. And the way that they trained us was that we revert back to our natural tendency in moments of stress. And moments of stress are when we're caught off guard or we're being asked directly to buy something. And so if we understand you better than you understand yourself, then we can control the situation and the conversation and control the outcome. Didn't work all the time, but it helped me a lot of the time, especially with a lot of difficult personalities. Especially when you go into the village, you're going to get sold a membership. So, and they're going to ask you for a lot of money. So it was, it's helpful, but I'm still learning the personalities, especially with COVID. You have a whole different, I don't even know what you want to call the COVID fear personality. That's a whole other one.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, I hear a lot of similarities in how they were going about it. And again, because it all, it all comes back to that same personality science, you can like think about, some similarities there. And yeah, what you talk about with where we are with COVID is so much, we're operating in this time of uncertainty and our stress is very activated. And sometimes that does not come out in the most positive light. We talk about in our training that you can have, there's a lot of like great benefits to these, but there's also the dark side, right? Like when you're either not as emotionally intelligent, when you're stressed out and not in a good place, maybe you're hungry, you're tired, different things, they can come up in a not so positive light. And so I think we're probably dealing with a lot of that. So.
Well, Amanda, it's Lois. I just wanted to share that I did hear a little bit about this, and my code was NAKB, N-A-K-B. But it struck my interest because I'm not great at sales. Sales has never been my forte. Although I'm an entrepreneur, that's like, really? But this has really helped me to understand about who I am and who I'm talking to, and to really make their interest or who they are more important, really, at the time I'm sharing, as opposed to selling. I mean, I think hope I'm saying that correctly. But my point is that this has really opened up my understanding and my kind of knowledge to really seeing others.
Thank you, Lois. Yeah, absolutely. It had the same effect for me when I learned it. Like I gained so much confidence in having that conversation because I was not comfortable before there and before that. And then it also, because I'm nurturing first, made it okay. It was like, this is about them and this is about helping them and speaking their language. And like, I can get on board with that. And it just, conversations felt better. And I was able to say, okay, this person really values science, so I'm going to go in with the research and just, talk about that instead of the relationships. And I saw it have this like immediate impact on my business. So, Paula, I will put in, I do have cards, I do have information. So what I was going to do is put in the code again, so you can crack your code if you're interested. And then what I'll do is I'll put in my Calendly link and my phone number. And if you want some more information, very happy. I definitely can help. We do training and all sorts of different things depending on what your needs are. And I'd be happy to talk more about that. So, wonderful.
Right. Does anyone else have any questions?
I'm seeing the codes come in. This is awesome.
Oh, Amanda, really, really great presentation. Thank you so much. But my question is actually for Karen. What does Friday hikes mean? Your sign behind you.
Yes, thank you so much for asking. You guys are welcome to join us. I am trying to network and get out of my office and my house. We just like to invite people that want to learn more about restoration and property damage and how to have an emergency preparedness plan. A lot of us don't really know what to do if our house flooded or had a catastrophic damage, but just having a plan in place can help. And so we like to kind of talk to people about, hey, have you had a flood? What went wrong? What went right? Do you have a commercial space? How are you guys, how are you keeping safe for COVID? Because we also do COVID cleaning. I just thought I'd think a little outside the box. And since it's really hard to get in front of people and have lunches and whatnot, y'all are welcome to join me every Friday and hike.
Where?
Yeah.
Oh, so it changes every week. So my email is on here, and actually right there is my email. So go ahead and send me a message if you're interested in coming this Friday. We're going to do Estrella Mountain. And if anybody lives on the East Valley, that's where we're going to be. And we do different peaks all throughout the valley. So like last week we did Tom's Thumb. We're probably going to do something more South Mountain the next time. And then we'll make our way over to the east side and just kind of rotate it every week to a different location.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, come meet some people. Yep.
That's great. Any other questions for Amanda, you guys? I'm not seeing any here. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for being with us today. I always learn an abundance of knowledge whenever I hear you speak. Shelly and I are over here talking about what we are. And I'm like, I think I'm a nurturer. I think I'm this. I think I'm that. So I'm excited to take the test and everything. So to wrap it up today, you guys, I wanted to go over some announcements from the chamber and what's coming up. As always, on Fridays, we have our Good News Girlfriends Club. It's at 3 p.m. If you guys want to end your week on a super positive note, a group of girls gets together every Friday and we talk about our positives for the week. And so it just sets the tone for the weekend. The Mesa Chamber virtual coffee time is coming up Thursday, September 24th from 8 to 9. It's a great way to meet other members, and it's sponsored by AZ Comp Technologies. You can register for that online. The Nonprofit Vitality Council meeting is also Tuesday, September 29th from 4 to 5 p.m. All chamber members are welcome to attend. It's not just nonprofits. It's actually really, really great for us business owners and professionals to be there to support our nonprofits that are part of our Mesa Chamber. So we would love for you guys to join there. We have the Mesa Cares Reemergence Program. It's open for business that needs anyone that needs technical support. Signage and other supports. It is entirely free. Please check out the details on the Mesa Chamber website at www.mesachamber.org. You can also go to the Chamber website for any other events listed. We'd love for you guys to join us. So with that being said, I appreciate all of your time today. I hope you guys have an amazing Tuesday. And Amanda, thank you so much again for being with us today. We were blessed to have you. Everyone have a great Tuesday.